Good morning. Good morning, Chancellor, Principal, members of the University, ladies and gentlemen, alumni, friends, family, proud parents, and of course, most importantly and above all, the gorgeous and talented graduates of the class of 2019. It's an enormous honour to be here, almost 32 years to the day since I graduated from Stirling University for the first time. Now, I do know what you're all thinking, especially this group here. You're thinking, wow, surely she's not old enough. She must have been one of those child prodigies that started university under 10 years old. Or is that wishful thinking on my part, perhaps? I think the more likely thought, not for you lot at the back, but for you lot at the front, is, wow, really, I can't imagine ever getting that old. Yeah? But believe it or not, I was once your age, and I've quite literally walked in your shoes. And as such, I know for sure that today represents an incredibly significant moment in your lives and in the lives of your family and your friends. It's a moment to reflect on the tremendous hard work and dedication that you and your teachers and your family and other supporters have been put in over multiple years and which has brought you to this incredibly successful conclusion. It's a moment to celebrate your time here, the great friendships that you will have made, along with the academic foundations that you've laid. It's a moment to bookmark the end of this chapter of your lives and to mark the commencement of the next exciting chapter that's upon you. And it's a moment to say thank you. So on behalf of the graduates who've received awards today, I would like to thank the University of Stirling for providing us with brilliant opportunities and a sound academic footing on which we can build exciting and successful futures. Thank you, University. Now, I'm personally thankful to Stirling University for a number of reasons. Firstly, the opportunity they offered me as part of my own undergraduate studies and for giving me a solid academic platform, including things like critical thinking and independent analysis, and I applied those in my future career. I'm also grateful to the university for conferring this honorary doctorate today. That will undoubtedly be a defining moment in my own life. And I'm also thankful for them asking to make this address, the reply on behalf of the graduates, and to share some of my thoughts and experiences. Now, I have racked my brain to think of what I ought to say to you today. And I've thought, what would I have wished to have known at my own graduation? What important lessons have I learnt over the last 32 years, that elapsed time since I was last here? And I've been quite humbled by this enormous responsibility placed on my shoulders, the opportunity to shape young minds with wise words. So I cast my mind back to my own graduation. The recipient of the honorary doctorate that day and the speech giver was a distinguished businessman. And reflecting on his speech has helped me enormously. Because, shh, come closer. I'm going to let you into a little secret. Don't share this with anyone outside the room. But I can't remember a single word he said, or indeed who he was. Now, good heavens, let's not blame the poor old fella, because I was a little distracted on the day, and having been sitting on the stage here watching the parade of graduates this morning, some of you may have stood in my shoes. I had a morbid obsession on the day that I might fall over on the stage. And I saw some of those shoes today, ladies, so I suspect that the ladies here may have shared that. But not today, ladies, because today I have on fabulous flats. So, however, reflecting on the fact that I couldn't remember what the gentleman had said and who he was, that gave me considerable amount of relief. This discovery has been amazingly liberating because it means that I can proceed now for the next 2 minutes or so without any fear at all that anything I have to say will really influence you negatively or blow you in any way off your life's course. So if you remember only one thing from anything I've said today, I will declare that a victory for me. Okay, so looking back over the last 30 years, I've got a myriad of tips that I could share with you, but I've tried to hone it down to just 3 things, okay? Firstly, curiosity, change, and the benefits of failure. There's a first. Secondly, connecting with people, and finally, the question of character. So starting with curiosity, change, and the benefits of failure. I like to use Charles Darwin here because he said it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. The species that survives is the one that is most adaptable to change. Now, I'm particularly pleased about this because I, for one, cannot ever profess to be the most intelligent in the room or the strongest. But by golly, I certainly have a chance at being the adaptable one, and I suspect that's the case for everybody here. So my advice to you, based on the last 30 years, is to try and stay fresh and relevant by being curious and keep on learning throughout your lives. Keep looking at the world outside and sharing experiences, because there's always a new way of thinking and a new way of doing things, and being adaptable and open to change is incredibly important. When I took up my first job as a graduate trainee in banking, I worked for a manager whose advice to me on my very first day in the job was, Alison, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. Please try and use them in those proportions. Now, that's still good advice today if you're going to have to listen and learn. When I think about my experience of entering the workforce, something that many of you will be thinking about doing, I remember that I was often paralyzed by the fear of looking stupid, the fear of asking something stupid, the fear of making a mistake. And if I could speak to my 22-year-old self today, I would say, embrace your inexperience and your foolishness, and embrace the fact that you've got absolutely no idea what you're doing. Why? Because at this time of your life, it's the very moment you can do it. You have no idea what's possible, no idea what's impossible. There are no stupid questions. You can try anything, and you can ask more questions. Graduates, I hope you will have phenomenal success. I really do. But I also hope that you have a few failures. If you make mistakes, it means you're out there doing something, you're trying new things, and you're making the world a more interesting place because you've existed. It's impossible to make change happen in the world at pace without having some form of failure. And unless the only way not for that to happen is if you're so cautious that you're interminably slow, or that you're not really trying anything new at all. And that, to my mind, is just failure by default. So, if you accept that failure will happen, that misfortune at some stage will befall you, then you'll be better prepared to handle it. You'll remember I said that's normal and that's natural. It's happened to all of us. And you'll see that failure as a great opportunity for better learning, for reinvention, and to build resilience and to make the next right move forward. My second theme is about connecting with people, and what I've learned is you need people to help and support you in all areas of your life. You just can't do it alone. So you need to build and develop and relish and cherish your relationships, and that includes here today. As you heard earlier, I have one of my oldest friends who graduated with me in 1987 here on the front row supporting me today. It's lifelong relationships you will have made here will sustain you for years to come. Your greatest impact in life, both professionally and personally, will probably be the influence that you have on the people around you. And what I've found is that's possibly your greatest success and your greatest joy as well. So celebrate the small victories you have and the small steps that you take with generosity to others. It's amazing what you can achieve if you don't care who gets the credit. And those small steps forward are the routes to bigger successes and to everybody's self-improvement. Now, my final theme is the importance of character. And here I'm going to use Shakespeare. Darwin and Shakespeare, not bad for an intellectual audience here. And he said, "This above all, to thine own self be true." And this is absolutely fundamental. It's as true today as when he made the statement in the 16th century. Maintaining your purpose, your integrity, keeping your promises, treating others well, doing what's right, not necessarily what's easy. I've learned that those are critical, not only to your own success, but to your well-being, and even more importantly, they're critical to your happiness. One of my favourite mantras, it's credited to Hunter S. Thompson, but I've subtly adapted it from its original to fit my own lifestyle. I think you'll see where the differences lie, is as follows. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in an attractive and well-preserved body. Rather, you should skid in sideways, bar of chocolate in one hand, glass of wine in the other, body thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and shouting, "Whey! What a ride!" So I say to you, remember, when you're making your choices, no specific career goal, no specific career choice you're going to make now is your path. Your path at 22 will not necessarily be your path at 32 or at 42, or dare I say it, even the very ripe old age of 52. One's life and career is continuously evolving, rising, falling, constantly changing, and whatever your path is now, it will probably change. And remember, that will be okay. So work hard, adapt and learn, be kind to people, and if you let go and enjoy the ride, amazing things will happen. And on that note, I'd just like to finish by wishing all of our graduates today the boldest, brightest, most wonderful and successful future. Thank you.